Okay, so that last demo was kind of a hit, so let's try another one. Another basic um, question of how things work in your outliner. One thing that I've noticed in various different outlining programs is that they don't have a really good concept of text mode and structure mode. So right now I'm in structure mode. And in structure mode, you have a bar cursor headline. That's the terminology. You can see why it's called that because it looks like a bar cursor. It's a bar that is the cursor. Now, there's another cursor that you can have, which is like that. It's a text cursor. And when you are clicking around in text mode, the keystrokes do different things than what they do in bar cursor mode. I know modes are supposed to be bad, but they aren't actually. This is good, and most outliners I've noticed have some structure things that they do, but there's no visual way of displaying the difference between structure mode and text mode, so people are kind of confused about what mode they're in. And then there are other things that just I don't get it. They don't make sense. So the question is, right, what happens? See, I put my text cursor here in the middle of Hawaii. What happens when I press return now? Okay, in some editors, let me just do it, okay? So here, what happens is I stay in text mode. I don't go into structure mode, but a new headline gets created. Because, I don't know, how often do you want to create a new headline versus how often do you want to split the name of the state Hawaii into two parts? Now, there is a keystroke for doing that, all right? So if I put my cursor there and I hold down the command key, now it does the split. And I'm sorry, I didn't say that's command return, okay? And now command backspace rejoins it. So let me do that again. Now this won't work here. Why? Because you can see the wedge here is dark. And what that means is there's text underneath it to be expanded. So I can tell that this has subordinate information even though the subordinate stuff isn't expanded. Let's see, there it is. Right? So if I do the command return here, nothing happens. You can hear it makes a little sound. And the reason it doesn't do anything there is because I don't know what to do for you. What is it that you want to do? Because what you're trying to do, in my mind, is the guy who designed that interaction is, I don't know, that's a list. That's not just a piece of text. I suppose one interpretation could be, the list now is named Caliph, and Ornia is another headline. You can do that easily enough by Command L, and then go up here and press Command Return. You have to decide what it is you're trying to do before I'm going to do it for you. In a case like that where you can so easily create chaos, figure it's better to slow this thing down a little bit, and you need to figure out what it is you had in mind. Because look, there's all this stuff down there. What's to do with that? All right, anyway, so here I was, text mode, return. Now is the time for blah, 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 right? I'm typing. If I press return, tab, now I'm adding something underneath that. So here, let's go to, I don't know, Honolulu. And notice I did a bunch. I didn't even know what I did just there. Because this is but to get myself back into the place where I could do that, I have these keystrokes. I don't even have to think about them, obviously. I've been using this outliner, this particular user interface with these key definitions. I've been using this since let's say 1986. It's I don't even want here. Let's do the math. 2021 minus 1986 is 35 years. It's also a nice little thing we do in our outliner is that, this is just JavaScript code. I enter it in and I press Command / and it pops the result down below it as a comment. And that obviously that would be something that would be nice to do as a little demo at some point. So I guess my point here is, now how do you go in and out of structure mode? Well, I think you could probably guess. Certainly you might be able to tell. Let's say if you click here, right, that gets you into text mode, because what did you do? You clicked on some text. And if you click on the wedge, here I'm in text mode. Click on the wedge, it gets me into structure mode. And in structure mode, things work differently. Not everything. I mean, we did figure some things out. Like, for example, I can be in text mode and still do a structure move with the keyboard. But left arrow and right arrow work differently in text mode than in structure mode. Like, see, this is moving flat through the text because I'm in text mode. I'm sorry, I should be telling you what I'm doing. I'm hitting up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, down arrow. You see, in other words, by going into text mode, I've said, now, for right now, just think of this as a bunch of text on the screen, and that's how I want to deal with it. That's the left arrow, right arrow, okay? But it all works differently if I am in structure mode. Watch this. Well, let me ask you in advance. Where do you think down arrow would take me from here? Well, it takes me there to Oregon, Washington. So I'm going up and down at the same level, right? And right arrow, well, that's going to take me flat through the list. Those are called flat up and flat down. You notice how this thing is going dark at times? By the way, notice the crumb trail here. I just saw a thing where they were talking about context in one of the other outlining products. And this is, I mean, we didn't invent this. This is called a crumb trail. And it's good. I mean, it shows you, if you ever want to sort of see how did you get there to that place. And let's see, I hope this still works. Okay, so if I click on this, the cursor should move to Nevada, right? And it does. This all recalculates as you move around. And this is hoist, and this is dehoist. So let's pause for a moment. What do you think hoist does? Let me show you. It makes Caesar's palace my whole world. It allows you to focus on a very specific part of the outline. You don't have to deal with all the rest of the stuff. Now you're in this little neck of the woods. And then this pops you back out a level. So it's like kind of like if you're a programmer, it's kind of like a procedure call, something like that. Hoist, dehoist. You can try all this stuff. This is in littleoutliner.com. And I don't know how long I've been talking, but it's long enough. If you have questions, I'm going to post this on Twitter. And if you can find it on Twitter, then or on YouTube, that's fine. You can ask questions in either place. Or ask for other demos. It's been ages since I've approached the product at this very basic level. This is all stuff that I take for granted, and most people don't know it, so it's a good idea to actually get some of this down. So anyway, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.